Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, August 28, 1749. March 22, 1832. Famous German thinker, writer, scientist, the most famous representative of Weimar classicism. Goethe is Germany's greatest poet, a leading figure in the history of German literature, recommended by Engels as a person in the field of literature and art, the real Zeus on Olympia. He pushed German literature to an unprecedented peak and gained immortal worldwide reputation. His Faust is the same as Homer, Dante's Divine Comedy, Shakespeare's Hamlet, also known as the masterpiece among masterpieces. It is the masterpiece of Enlightenment literature. It is also the history of European and world literature, one of the most valuable and influential works. When people become truly inferior, besides rejoicing in other people's misfortunes, there is no other fun left. The key is to have a heart that loves the truth. Encounter the truth anytime, anywhere, just absorb it. The relationship between error and truth. Just like the relationship between sleep and wakefulness, a man wakes up from his mistakes. You will move towards the truth with new strength. People who make good use of time, there is always plenty of time. Everything the pain left to you, please savor it carefully. Once the suffering is over, suffering becomes sweet. There are many beautiful and outstanding things in the world, but they are not dependent on each other. Whoever plays life, he accomplishes nothing. Who does not dominate himself, always a slave. The worst thing in life is that people, often hindered by wrong ambitions without realizing it. You won't understand until you get rid of those obstacles. People who take an interest in themselves interest us. Human beings are like rivers. The wooden stick just cut through the waves. The waves immediately flowed together again. There is no distinction between king and common people. As long as there is peace at home, he is the happiest person. What best shows a person's character? Nothing more than what he was laughing at. My favorite author would be this: rediscover my world in his works. The things described in his works seem to be happening around me, and find his story cordial and interesting. Just like my life at home, although it is not heaven, but overall it is an indescribable source of happiness. There are two kinds of peaceful violence. That's law and etiquette. Human beings are always complacent about their own desires. Sometimes I tend to forget myself, even in extremely happy moments. They often cannot extricate themselves. Don't wait for tomorrow to do what you do today. Don't wait for others to do what you do. We must always say repeatedly about the truth, because there are people who are repeatedly publicizing mistakes. And it's not just a few people, but a large number of people who propagate it. Theory is gray, and the tree of life is evergreen. Love, your words are my food, your breath is my wine. I should not attribute my work entirely to my own intelligence. I should also give credit to those outside me who provided me with materials. Thousands of things and people must work with earthly materials. Only in this way can people understand, at the same time, he is the master of nature, because he made this earthly material obey his higher will and serve this higher purpose. We serve our motherland. They can't all use the same method. Everyone should be based on their qualifications, to each his own best. Well-educated teachers at all levels agree that children do not understand what they want. Adults, like children, stumble across this earth, busy and busy, not knowing where I came from. Wherever you want to go, you have no real intention in doing things that just become a slave to. Biscuits, pastries, and birches. No one wants to believe this, but I feel this is clear at a glance. Experienced people read with two eyes. One eye sees the words on paper, the other eye sees the back of the paper. It is not a virtue to be willing to live in a lower position. It is a virtue to be able to descend, acknowledging that what is below us is above us. It is also a virtue. Smart young people think, if you admit a truth that has already been acknowledged by others, will cause you to lose your originality. This is the biggest mistake. Human creation is like nature's creation, to really speak. The main thing to note is the motivation. Blood is the most precious liquid. If it is a rose, it will always bloom. Those who are as carefree as children are the happiest. You have to criticize and point out the scenery around you. You first have to climb onto the roof. Read a good book. Just talking to a lot of noble people. Our advice is, everyone should stick to the path he has carved out for himself. Don't be intimidated by authority. Not be constrained by the current point of view. Don't be fooled by fashion either. This power earlier, more generally and more surely dominion over the whole world, that is the power of love. Believe in life. It teaches people better than any book. Neither wise men nor fools are harmful. The most dangerous thing is a mixture of wisdom and foolishness. What I still have seems to be far away from my eyes. What has passed away becomes vivid again. We all have something to learn from our predecessors and peers. Even the greatest genius, if he wants to deal with everything with his unique inner self, he will never achieve much either. Science and art belong to the whole world. In front of them, national barriers disappeared. Anyone with talent will always be oppressed by the outside world. All that the soul cares most deeply about, it can only be discussed through the words that come out of your lips. I will never be the same again. A little bit of misfortune that fate imposes on us. Chew it over and over again, never forget it. I want to enjoy now. Let bygones be bygones. I want to jump into the running of the times. I want to jump into the ring of time, pain, joy, failure, success. I don't even ask. A man's career is supposed to be non-stop day and night. Talent is created in silence, and character is formed in the rough waves of the world. How can a person know himself? Never by thinking, but through practice. Labor can save us from 3 major disasters: loneliness, vice, poverty. Be unswervingly true to yourself and others. Can possess the noblest qualities of the greatest talents. The closer the goal is, the more difficult it becomes. I hope everyone can be as peaceful and calm as the stars. Continue to complete your journey along the set goals. When I was young, I experienced a noble sentiment. I still can't forget it. This is my trouble. The important thing in life is to establish a great goal, and the determination to achieve it. If there is no love in this world, what meaning does it have in our hearts? It's like a revolving lantern without light.